Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Yes, the kitty cam is doing fine. It's just the cat's way on the other side of the room, and he was just cute over there, and you didn't really see him well, but, you know. I'm sure the kitty will make a closer up-close appearance for us all. So we have two topics on the list to talk about today. We are first going to go and look at FerenOS KDE Beta. Is the official name for this KDE Beta or Next Beta? Because it's like, I was looking at the getting it, and there's the download button for it, and it said Next Beta, so that's why I used that in the title. But anyway, we're going to looking at that, and FerenOS is here with us in the stream here. He will not be joining us on the call, but you can actually ask questions. Any questions that you have of FerenOS, we will be able to have a look at that. And with that, let's go ahead and talk about this. So this is based on, I believe it's still based on Linux Mint, is that correct? And this is probably, if there was a new Linux distro, like a distro for new users to really compete with Zorin's market of making familiarity, I think FerenOS is actually better. Zorin has some things going for it that are okay, but I think not as okay as Feren. I think he does a little bit better job, which is also remarkable, being a very young person and I believe a one-person team. And so with that, so FerenOS Next Beta, the official name is KDE Experimental, he says. All right, and so let's go ahead and start by having a look at the website, which is at ferenos.weebly.com, and you can come on over here and see this thing's been downloaded 130,000 times, almost 131,000. And what I like about this distro is it just gives you that familiarity, whether you want to set up your computer like a Windows, set up your computer like a Mac. You have all this functionality based on the core that it's on it is just rock solid. And they give you a lot of options, a lot of features, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of functionality, your choice of web browsers and things like that. So if we head on over to the download, you can grab the official release is still based on Cinnamon. You can also get the experimental, KDE Experimental, which FerenOS Next. But this is based on Plasma instead of Cinnamon, and that is the one we are going to have a look at today. Now, he also told me how we can get the original launch screen back, the first start screen back. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to boot into the system, but then we're going to delete that file, go back in so I can show you the first install. Now, as we get ready to launch into this, the installer is the Calamaris installer, and there is a general bug with the Calamaris installer where it does not like to install itself. It has a problem erasing the whole disk if you select erase disk and install. It has a problem doing that, and because of that, it will fail on install sometimes, and that doesn't have anything to do with Feren. That has to do with the Calamaris installer. I've seen that on Debian, and I've seen that on, I think that was an issue, several different distros. I'm forgetting all of them off the top right now. So when I see that installer, it's good to just boot up your disks, erase your disk from the disks application, and then run the installer. So over here, we are on the desktop here. We have this welcome screen that pops up. This is going to tell us that this is experimental software. We have a list of the known bugs. There's other things that are upstream bugs that he can't really fix very well, and so that's really good. Now, what he says to do is, let's go ahead and, nope, not the store. I wanted to boot up the, nope, that's minimize Windows, not Vivaldi, files. Files, that's what I need. All right, so we need to go into files. No, I'm gonna remember which one gets us the show hidden files on Plasma. Oh well, I'm forgetting. Let's just go down and view all of our files. Control H, I thought I did that. All right, so he said if you delete this file here, it will rerun the first start screen. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we will log out. Where is my logout on this thing? Is it power? There it is. All right. And let's log out, log back in, and we should get the first load screen again. So if you need that first load screen again, then you can do that. Let's go ahead and type in my super secret password that is definitely not 123 or ABC. All right. Let's see if I get that screen or not. Uh-oh, Feren, I did not get that screen. Did I do that wrong? Anyway, I was supposed to get a startup screen, so I'll just walk you through what was in the startup screen. So when you first load the system, you get a screen, you install it, you reboot into the system for the first time. What you will get is you'll get a screen that the first thing it's going to do is walk you through the installation of the codecs with the typical warning sign that if you want the codecs, make sure it's legal in your particular jurisdiction. Click on the button, enter your password, and then you get that. Now, the next screen that you get is you get a look and feel screen, which we can get most of that look and feel screen right here. We're going to close this one. So over here, you can choose between, now Breeze and Breeze Dark is not in here. We can choose between a Cupertino layout, which is going to give us a Mac type feel. I'll show you what all of these guys look like. I did not get all my panels there. I think I need to hit that button there as well. Hit this, hit this. This was very smooth the first time I ran it. There you go. I had to hit it in that particular order, that particular sequence. So now we will have a panel up at the top. We have a little Mac panel at the bottom. We have our familiar layout over here. This is going to get us just the typical FerenOS old layout. So we have this, that's actually the Windows menu. That's not the main window I was expecting it to be. That did kind of give us the Cupertino layout, or the Redmond layout. We have FerenOS Dark. We have FerenOS Light. We have the Redmond is the one I was running, which gives us a Windows 10 type feel. So if you wanted to run a Windows 10 type feel, you can go ahead and do this. You get a tiled Windows manager. You get this this application menu, and everything really duplicates it well. So if you actually wanted to, make people believe you're actually running Windows 10, you could literally take this, throw the Windows 10 wallpaper there, and change the icon down here into a Windows icon, and I would guarantee that most people would not recognize that you're actually not using Windows, especially since you can even download a Windows 10 icon pack as well, which I don't think is on this. We also have an Ubuntu Unity layout, so this gives us an Ubuntu type feel to it, so you can do that as well. Now the other thing, and maybe he'll say there in the chat there, the other thing is that you can select your accent color. So I've selected the gray accent color. You can select between a variety of different accent colors. Let me check his comment feed real quick, see if I did that incorrectly. Make sure home, Feren, ob complete plasma.temp probe are deleted, and then log out and log in, and it should rerun. All right, so let's go ahead and give that a try. All right, so let's go up to... All right, so we're going to go home folder, and he says Feren ob complete plasma. Yep, we're deleting that one. Okay, we need to clear something out of temp as well. Let's see if I can find that. And okay, ob temp running. Not seeing that one, man. Let's go ahead and log out, log back in. I'm just gonna go ahead and reboot the whole system instead of just logging out, log in. Let me go ahead and reboot. Yeah, not sure why that's not showing up. More stuff to edit in the shorter video, I guess. Okay, so I'll run that in the terminal if it does not rerun it. So how can we change our accent color even later? That might be a setting, I just haven't looked for it. Nope. Well, it did get rid of my theming colors. Got rid of the colors, but it did not get rid of anything else. Let's go ahead and... No errors. It's just not running. I don't know. This is not running. But anyway, that very first login screen is very helpful. That's what I was trying to get running there, and I'm just not seeing it. But anyway, we can always change our look and feel. Let's go ahead and change our look and feels around in the look and feel button again. All right. So I want to do my, let's go back and try the Redmond. Apply this. System settings, that's what I was looking for. Let me have a look at the system settings, see what we have in there. So we have screen locking, here's displays. Decorations. All right, let's see. Okay, other features that are very nice about Feren. We have this web browser chooser here. This guy here is going to give us a web browser manager, so any of these that you'd like to install. So Vivaldi is your default web browser. You can install Firefox, Chrome, I think this is GNOME Web, Chromium, Opera, Brave, and Falcon are all options that you can install. Very easily, and he also says that if you have a .exe file, so like Wine is not installed by default, which is good, but he said if you click on a exe file from Windows, then that will actually give you a prompt to install Wine if you want to. As far as the tile layout, I think the tile layout is really good. It looks very nice. Overall, here we can install software. So we have Flatpak and Snap setups by default. Do we have a basic software installer that's not Snap or Flatpak? Let's have a look at our installer up here. We should, but oh, I keep on clicking the minimize Windows instead of the software button. I'm not used to my minimize Windows being there. All right, so this is just the Linux Mint installer here. So let's go ahead and install Stellarium just for fun. All right, so it's going to install any software we want. First time we attempt to install software, we're going to need to enter our password there. So we have the Linux Mint installer, a lot of Linux Mint core. The only thing I'm noticing, and this could be a virtual machine thing, is it does, like, the system's good and responsive, but it does seem a little slow and sluggy. I find that a lot in Plasma. That doesn't generally bother me. It's just an observation that I've made. But I think it's a good trade-off for everything else that we actually have inside of our system. So our theming is really good. Our layouts are really good. Our options are really good. We need to figure out how to get that first set. And if you can we rerun the okay, make a new user, log into them. Let's go ahead and see if we can rerun the accent colors as well. All right, so we have Stellarium is now installed. So let's go ahead and find Stellarium. Go ahead and add that over here. And then you can right-click to edit a tile, so you can do that with a tile there. You can change the URL, the label. We can adjust the icon. Not sure why it's not pulling the icon right, but there we are. Oh, don't reset tile, right? This is the first time I'm actually playing around with this Windows-like tile manager, so for some reason it doesn't pull that tile in quite right. That's okay. We'll figure that out. That's a Plasma function. All right, let's go ahead and try creating a new user. That's the last-ditch effort to see that screen. Let's do new user. Let's name him Bob. Bob and Bob. No, I want to use Bob. Okay, let's log out. We will log back in as Bob and see the welcome screen. This should give us that first start screen I wanted to show you guys. All right, there we are. Okay, so here is the FerenOS first start screen. So out of the box default, this is our basic menu. I have never been a big fan of this particular menu here, but that's okay because we can change it over here. We come over here, we want to click Start. We can choose what we want. FerenOS default. We have a tablet mode, and you can just click on these, and it will automatically show you what that looks like. So here's our tablet mode. I'm guessing it just makes things a little bit bigger, maybe a little easier to find stuff. I'll tell you what, here's something. If you're doing tablet mode, why don't you try the dash icon, because I think that the dash menu is going to be way better for tablet mode. So if we hit Show Alternatives, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Hit the application, I think it's the dashboard. I think if you're doing a tablet mode, I think that this is a way better option for a tablet. Just a thought. We have our familiar layout, which just gives us a basic option here. And this guy here is just going to give us a typical menu. So this one gives us like the Windows 10 menu. Redmond, of course, lays it out like Windows 10. So everything will be set up with our system panel. The only other thing that Redmond probably does is the minimize windows is way on the other side of the clock. So if we were to edit this, if we were to go ahead and move this thing here, let's do configure panel and move this guy over here. Now this is more true Redmond, because in Windows, if you throw your mouse to the bottom corner and click it, this is what minimizes all windows in that. So just little options. Cupertino layout, this of course is your Apple type layout. So we have our nice panel at the top. We have a nice menu down here. This is very much like Mac. Very good job on this one here. We have an application dashboard again. That's again what I would think would be the better one for the tablet mode as well. And then we also have a Ubuntu Unity layout. So over here, I'm not sure why it says Python 3 up here in the corner, but you know. But here's our application dashboard and our Ubuntu Unity layout. So of course I like the Redmond layout is my preferred. So we'll go ahead and reset that. And then, oh, it did not reset itself. Let's go back to familiar first. And go back to Redmond again. Let's see if I get Redmond this time. Hey, there we go. Now we got Redmond. All right, click next, and now we get to choose our default. We can choose our color, light or dark. So if you want to go with a light mode or a dark mode, and then you can choose your accent color between a variety of nice colors. Okay, so you can change between light and dark mode. By changing theme, you can change the accent color using the applications menu theme colorist. So in the applications menu, theme colorist is what you can do there. So you can change those in the future right there. And then it prompts you through, you can configure an Android type device with KDE Connect. We have the option to get it through the free source, F-Droid, or on Google Play if you're using that. We're not going to configure that. And then now we can go ahead and click on All Done. Now the other thing that we have, if it is a brand new install, is you have the option to install the codecs as well. We did not see that in this screen because I'm setting it up as a new user, as I was having trouble getting that screen to reload on the first install. So we have the getting started, our keyboard shortcuts. We have a driver utility here. So if you want to set up new drivers, you can click on this to load up the driver manager. That's going to search your computer for any hardware that you can install new drivers. We can do our customization, so we can do our look and feel. And we have updates, optional tasks. So a variety of little things. Let's have a look at what our optional tasks is giving us. So we can set up our backup utilities, our firewalls, and configure other users. Let's go ahead and have a look at that before I forget the name of it. It was a theme colorizer. So this is how you can change your accents, create a theme, apply an existing. Let's go with this. Okay, so there's a variety of colorations. It's not, doesn't look quite as, okay, so there you go. So we can create a new accent colorization there. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right. Okay, so there is that. As far as everything else, now since we picked the Cupertino, now we have access to this tiled manager. Of course, you can edit these by editing the tiles. You can configure them how you like. You can set up their own custom backgrounds, labels, all these types of things. This is actually I have not actually used this particular tile manager in KDE. This is something that is new that came up since I've been using it more recently. The other thing that FerenOS gives us, which is very nice, is we have a browser manager. So our browser manager will allow us to pick between a variety of different web browsers very easily. So if you like Firefox or maybe Brave, I usually use Chromium for anything that I'm doing for that. Let's see. Let me try this one. I'm using a user that's not necessarily set up as a install. Okay, so if I use my my root credentials, I can actually install. So since I'm running this video here as just a basic system user, I wasn't sure if I would be able to install that or not. But apparently I was. So we are now installing Chromium. So then we'll have Vivaldi and Chromium. We have other options as well. So the other things, of course, we have, here's our most recently used. We have our archive manager. All right, so now Chromium is set up. So we'll see that on our menus now. We have our calculator, calendars, our Chromium's there, driver utilities, fingerprint GUI. What's that? Okay, so that's actually to manage fingerprints. All right, that's scary. All right, you may not have my fingerprints. You may not have my fingerprints. All right, firewall configurations. We have Geary set up there, icon browsers. We have Kate Console Krita, Guest guard, a lot of K applications, which we would expect. Full LibreOffice suite. We have send feedback or report an issue. Simple scan setup. I installed Stellarium just as a test before we started the video. We have Synaptic here. Our software installer is actually going to be our Linux Mint software installer. So you can boot this guy up, and this is our Linux Mint software installer. So that's kind of what the core of what this is based on. We have Flatpaks here. I believe we also have Snap support built into the system as well. So we can do a variety of different things. Overall, I think FerenOS is a very good. It is a very stable distribution based on my favorite Linux Mint. This guy gives us a Plasma version that just has so many good configurable user options. This is just such an amazing distribution. I definitely recommend having a look at it. So those are my thoughts about FerenOS KDE Beta. Let me know your thoughts down below. You can download this at FerenOS.weebly, or is it FerenOS.weebly.com, I believe it is. I'll have the link in the description down there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All that, guys, I forgot to push the record button. I'm going to have to download this so I can actually record it. Oh, well. Maybe what I might do is I might just do a separate video installing it later. So what I'll probably do is release the Snowden video today as the edited, and I'll just redo the FerenOS. I'll just reinstall it so we can walk through it. I think that's what we're going to do. Because I think that the Snowden video will be a good one. So we're going to talk about Snowden next. Let's go ahead and read through the comments, and then we'll dive into that. All right. Hello, Pizza Pizza. Get well, Pizza. I saw there that you're a little sick today. Well, get well and drink some tea. That'll help you out for sure. What desktop? That is FerenOS running KDE Plasma. Changing look and feel resets the accent colors. All right. Looks so similar to Windows 10, yes. Another bug I need to fix when applying look and feel themers. Changes to KDE config will cause apps to open up in look and feel directory. Oh. Well, hey, that's why we're getting beta feedback, right? Yes, this is Feren's distro. Accent color lady, use the color themer. Don't use colors yet unless you change the application style to Breeze as Cavium and non-intentional color themer schemes don't mix. Okay. KDE Color X themes work with GDK apps. Not sure. All right. Dissatisfied with the activity of the VDG. Okay, so it's based on Ubuntu 18.04, not Linux Mint anymore. Is that what I'm seeing? Okay. Or tip, FerenOS in look and feel is the default layout. GNOME Web looks splendid in Plasma. My show desktop is there because that's position of it in Windows XP. You know what, though? It's not a position where it is from Windows 7 on. And so I think most people would be used to it being on the far right. I don't know. What are all of the people watching this thing? Should he move it to the far right? That's I get it. Yeah, I get it. It is an XP type layout, but XP type layout is, unless you're targeting a third world, I think targeting a 7 or a 10 would be better, especially since the menu definitely mimics 10. Run better on real hardware. It probably would. SSD that came in yesterday, might put it on it. Yep. Plasma X11 doesn't have adequate OSK that can type into it. All right. Cupertino just grabbed GNOME. No, there were actually some differences. Like GNOME, I think the menus and stuff in GNOME are very sloppy. That did not use GNOME. That actually used something that was definitely more Cupertino than GNOME does. Icons should be moved to Unity layout so they aren't under the dock. Okay. It's rare it doesn't apply the LNF layout properly. Yeah, that was the first time I saw it. When I was experimenting before I started rolling the video, it was working just fine. Codecs page is skipped if the OOBE finds out you already installed the codecs. Yep. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm gonna re-record the video for later. Maybe I'll release that on Monday or Tuesday or something. But I'll re-record the video with a brand new fresh install and walk people through the installation and basic walkthroughs. Greetings, Ash and Snap. Have a banana. All right. FerenOS doesn't have a root password default. The dialog was just a warning. Feren's password since they're only administrator user. Yeah, I use my administrator user, and that installed it. Can you run root in Dolphin with this KDE version? Not sure. No, because Dolphin isn't even installed. Yeah, I think Nemo is way better than Dolphin anyway. Hello, Bruce Scott. Your readings. The state. Indiana, the state this time. All right. Redmond layout is 95 through Vista. Familiar is 7 through 10. Okay, all right. But then if you're doing that layout, why do we get the Windows 10 menu instead of a simple menu, which is what you got back in those days? It's all minor stuff. It's a great job. Choice in Redmond. I guess I could switch the cascading vanilla menu. I don't know how many would want a single column menu. Yeah. So maybe you could do another option, you know, one for a Windows 10 type style, one for an old. I mean, I don't know the Redmond terminology as it were. Oh, look at that. I did not comb my hair today. That's why I wear a hat, you know. I don't have to worry about my hair. All right. Should we go ahead and jump on into the next segment? Or do you guys want to say hi to Kitty? Come on, Kitty. Well, come. People want to say hi to you. Come on. People want to say hi to you. Come on. Oh. Say hi to the kitties. Yeah. People want to say hi to you. Okay. Yes. He's going to steal my stuff and make me all itchy and stuff when I'm trying to do my next video. I might want to put you down because I want the next video to be really good without cat hair flying up in my face like that. You got cat hair all over. Yes, you do. You're a hairy beast. All right, we're going to put you down, but in response for putting you down, I'm going to give you 4 kitty treats today, okay? Why don't you go to lay down for a little bit, and I'll call you when we're ready for kitty treats, okay? I'll call you when we're ready for kitty treats. We're going to try and remember to push the record button today so that I actually have a good record. Man, I wasn't happy with the FerenOS video feed anyway. I'm just going to reinstall it all and do that later. All right. You know what I'll probably do? I'll probably do the distro. I'll probably do the next DE on Monday. So I'll re-record the FerenOS and I'll release that on Tuesday because Tuesday is becoming so tight. If I do not get my Tuesday videos out early, if I don't actually record them early, I'm not getting a video done on Tuesdays anymore. So, I don't know. Let's see. Leadman Lada's only Windows-style menu for Plasma is currently tiled menu. There's no Windows-style 2-column menu or otherwise. I would just use the simple Plasma menu or I forget the name of it. I don't know. That's okay. Your distro. I think it's fine either way. I'm just giving ideas based on what I'm seeing. So, great job on the distro though. That is amazingly good. By the way, it mentions FerenOS Beta Next on Get package and has not mint in bold. Oh, I didn't read it quite as thoroughly as I should have, I guess. I will correct that. I will do a better video on Tuesday, and I will make sure we clarify that. And I'll actually read the pages before doing the video. How's that sound? That way we'll get a better video. It is a great distro. But let's go ahead and jump on to our next topic. So this is Edward Snowden at the request of a super chatter yesterday. So, hey, if you give me a big super chat, I'll do a video at your request as long as I'm technically capable of doing it. And this is one that makes sense to do. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Of course, that means I need to change my banner too, don't I? Desktop. Where's my title? Title banner. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Mr. Title Banner? There you are. Replace. Snowden, friend or enemy of state? Are we ready for this one? Make sure my web browsers are looking right too. Okay. I think we are pretty good. Yeah, let's go. Readjust that much. All right. And let me grab me my notes too. Need my show notes. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today I had a request to do a video on Edward Snowden. What are my general thoughts and my opinions on the situation of the story? Of course, this is big news right now because Edward Snowden's just now releasing his book on this topic, and the government is suing to confiscate all proceeds on the book on the basis that he did not seek approval from the government before releasing it because he was a contractor. So I think he's probably going to lose the case. Now, his argument and reason for that, as what I was reading, is that he said, you know, there's nothing in it that's not already public knowledge. This is just a basic summary from his own viewpoint. He says that if they had ran it past them, they would not allow him to release it. So he just decided to release it. So they're going to confiscate all of the proceeds. I'm not completely sure Snowden cares. I think he cares more about the fact that it's out. Now, why are they not blocking the release? Because that would be against the First Amendment. Why do they care about the Constitution, though? So that's kind of the case. So my guess is he's probably going to lose the argument. He's probably going to lose the royalties of that particular book. I don't think he cares that much. But it begs that question. What do I, as a privacy security guy, think about this situation? And that was the nature of the question. And so I want to go back through and have a look at the Edward Snowden case. So from Business Insider, what we wanted to see is 1 year of the unprecedented top secret leaks. Now, understand this, as we'll go through this brief list, there is nothing that he leaked that would specifically compromise national security. Nothing. What he leaked is mostly surrounding the absolute unconstitutional actions of the government. So he released these articles through WikiLeaks. So he said, basically he released information that the NSA was collecting phone records from Verizon customers, which is illegal. The government cannot collect stuff without a warrant. All right. They had a top secret court order, which was actually nothing more than a rubber stamp FISA court, which was never designed to do any of this type of stuff. This was baseless. It did not target anybody. It was just them collecting a bunch of data. Then the NSA accessed and collected data through back doors, through Google and Facebook and a variety of other companies called Prism. There's an 18-page presidential memo showing that Obama ordered intelligence officials to drop a list of overseas targets for cyber attacks. That one's a questionable. That deals, I don't know if that's necessarily national security, but it does definitely highlight the fact that, the government is using a lot of these things. I don't know. I'm not going to take a position on that one. Documents revealed NSA's Boundless Informant program, which gives the agency near real-time ability to understand how much intelligence coverage there is in areas of a heat map. So where are people at? NSA was hacking computers in Hong Kong, mainland China, very few of which were military systems, and we're all complaining about Huawei. British intelligence agency intercept phone and internet communications of foreign politicians. This is actually a Five Eyes group. There's an excellent video from TechLore detailing the Five Eyes and things that you should watch if you want to understand that, sure, now the government doesn't necessarily spy on our own citizens, but what they'll do is they'll trade our data for the data from the Five Eyes, so that all of the Five Eyes are going to watch the citizens. They'll just trade data, so they're not actually taking the data, but you know. Top secret procedures that shows steps the NSA must take to target and collect data from non-U.S. persons, how it must minimize data collected on U.S. citizens. So that's actually a good thing. Okay, this is like, hey, we're trying to make a little bit of an effort. They looked at tapping fiber optic cables to collect and store global email messages, Facebook posts, internet histories, calls, and shares the data with the NSA. So this is part of that Five Eyes discussion. The program named Evil Olive that collects and stores large quantities of America's internet metadata, which contains only certain information about online content. Email metadata, for example, reveals the sender and recipient of addresses and time, but not the content or the message. So this is actually them collecting data on United States citizens. And then until 2011, Obama administration permitted NSA's continued collection of vast amounts of Americans' email and internet metadata. Under Bush's program called Stellar Wind, government bugged offices of the European Union in New York, Washington, and Brussels. Government spies on at least 38 foreign embassies. NSA spies on millions of phone calls, emails, text messages of ordinary German citizens, which that's what they do. Using a program called Fairview, NSA intercepts internet calls of Brazilian citizens, monitoring stations set up in Australia and New Zealand to help feed data back to NSAs. So again, a lot of these international ones, this is what we expect them to be doing. It's only the places where they're doing it locally. So Snowden didn't just dump on what they're doing to the citizens. So in that respect, yeah, these are all things, though, that were all speculated. Okay, we can go through and I'll have these articles listed. These are all things that are speculated. People are saying, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Maybe I need to put on the, that's just a conspiracy theory. No, it's not, you know. And Mr. AJ, their accent. The reality is, though, is that Snowden revealed actual constitutional violations of the government. And after these leaks came about, these surveillance programs were deemed by the courts to be illegal. So what was going on back before these leaks had occurred is that a court case came up and said that the government is collecting all of this data, and then the people said, well, we kind of know what's happening, but we really don't have evidence. And they asked the government in federal court, and they said, we can neither confirm nor deny. And so the Supreme Court ruled that said that if this is really happening, yes, it is unconstitutional, but we don't have any evidence that this is happening, so we cannot make a ruling on it, and the case was dismissed. What Snowden did is he actually gave the real evidence that this was actually happened, so the case was reopened and deemed unconstitutional. So what he did is he exposed information that is unconstitutional, and the courts have actually deemed these surveillance programs to be unconstitutional. All right? So he basically gave us the solid facts, the solid evidence for what the conspiracy theorists were all saying was happening, but now we have the actual real evidence, and those are no longer conspiracies, but reality. So it makes you go, maybe we should give a little bit of credence to crazy people who talk weird and talk about water and frogs. So with that, he showed us why privacy is important, okay? So what he did is he gave us a first time a real reason why we should take privacy seriously. Now, do we all take privacy as seriously as we probably should? No, I don't think we do. But should we take privacy as seriously? We absolutely should. And so what he introduced is this concept of turnkey government, or what it says in this article, turnkey tyranny. So this turnkey government, what this means is that while our current government or our current companies or our current whatever collects all this data, and you say, well, I have nothing to hide, so I don't really care. The problem is this data is stored forever. And it's not necessarily a matter of, is what you're doing wrong today, but is what you're doing going to be wrong when the next government takes over, in the next century, in the next decade. And the reality is we are starting to see turnkey tyranny occur, not on the governmental level, on the social level. I mean, think back to, was it James Gunn, I believe, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, who did a phenomenal job on these? He was deleted for a tweet that he said 15 years ago. Now, some of these tweets that were getting drugged up from the past and thrown out in front of us, some of these things are just, some of them were wrong. Some of them were culturally acceptable at the time, but 10 years later, we have this crazy culture where we've lost our ever-loving minds. And what ends up happening is now people are actually suffering real-world consequences for things that were culturally acceptable 10 years ago. And that is turnkey tyranny on a social level. Well, what happens when all of this data and the government rules retroactively against, let's say, Christianity? I'm a Christian. The government retroactively says Christianity is now illegal. Now they can go back through the entire back history of me being online talking about Christianity for 15 years, and I don't have anything I can do about it. See, first they came for the trade unionists, and I was not a trade unionist, so I said nothing. And then they came for the black people. I was not a black person, so I said nothing. Then they came for the Jewish people. I was not a Jewish person, so I said nothing. Now they're coming for me, and there is no one left to speak for me. That was a roundabout version of the quote that I don't have exactly memorized, popularized by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a Christian in Nazi Germany who died for his faith because he stood up with a warning sign saying, guys, this is bad. Okay, this is turnkey tyranny. That all of this data collection can retroactively later on be used against you, and that is why I'm doing my privacy series. That is why it is so important that we protect as much data as we can. This is why I do not want to send health data to the cloud. This is why I do not want to send all of my preferences to the cloud. This is why I do not want to store all my contact information on someone else's cloud. Because this actually occurs. He gave us reasons for this, all right? He, of course, has some famous quotes. One of his best ones I had my thing out of order. Arguing you don't have a right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. Okay? Sometimes a scandal is not what law is broken, but what the law allows. These are just some quotes from him. Ultimately, though, the point of the matter is Edward Snowden gave us actual evidence for things that the government was doing was wrong. Now the Supreme Court has ruled that those things were wrong. What would happen if he just took his concerns to his superior? He would have disappeared into McGreedy's black bag, and we would never have seen from him again. Okay? He would have disappeared. Nobody would have known the better. But he didn't. He instead decided to release the information, which information was used to retroactively say, yes, now we actually have evidence, yes, what you're doing is unconstitutional. And in theory, those programs have ended. Now, is Edward Snowden just running away and running away? No. From day one, he has offered to come back to the United States. He has one condition, and that is he wants to have a fair and open trial, which is his constitutional right as an American citizen. The things he exposed have already been demonstrated to be unconstitutional. The government has responded and said, if you come back, we promise not to torture you. Okay? The fact of the matter is, if he gets a fair public trial, which is his constitutional right, he will come back today. The government is refusing to give him his constitutional right. So, what do I think? What's my final thoughts? I think that Edward Snowden is a friend of the state. He has given us information that really woke up a lot of people to say, absolutely, we have to take privacy seriously. It's not just, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I have nothing to hide. No. You may not be doing something wrong now, but what you're doing right now could be illegal in a decade from now, and then they'll come back for you. You don't want to say something on Twitter that is perfectly in alignment with modern reality to find that you lose your job 10 years later, or worse, you disappear. We have to take privacy seriously. We have to protect ourselves from these companies because the companies give open access to the government for all this data. So I don't store any of my information on Google. I don't store anything on Facebook. I don't use these things as a private, personal person. Yes, I have some business social media stuff. If you want to follow there, that just tells you when I post a new video, and I might throw an article up there that I find. Okay, but the fact of the matter is I am not willing to give all of this data up to all of these companies. We lived perfectly fine in our society without connecting everything to the cloud, without connecting everything to the internet, and without giving all of this data to these companies. In my opinion, Edward Snowden is a hero. And I would ask the government to give him a fair public trial. He is willing to go to jail for what he released. That's fine. All he's saying is we need a public trial, and he wants a jury of his peers to determine his guilt, and he will accept any consequence that comes from it. That's my thoughts on Edward Snowden. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And thank you once again for that super chat, Jeff. And another one. That is my thoughts on Edward Snowden. And there will be some articles when I release this video, which will be later on today. I will have all of these articles down below. Have a chance to read through all those articles. See what you think. Let's see. Where am I at? Whatever it is, it's a Redmond layout. I switch over to single. Yeah, dude, you want Feren? That's all right. Frenemy, friend to us, enemy to the state. Yeah, there you go. Snowden, not the hero we deserve, but the one that we needed. There you go. Yep. Give that man a Batman sign. All right. Are both NSA, CIA bad? Fake opposition, fake heroes. Yep. The problem with 9/11 is the evidence was destroyed too quickly to have a verdict. Think about that one. All right. The Mitten State. Eating lunch when you replied to. Snowden is a deep state. He is a cousin with Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Twitter, and the CEO of Twitter. Dorsey? I've been asking my wife to make a pizza for 30 minutes, and she won't do it for another hour. Well, go make a pizza, man. Snowden is really the reason I use Linux, not Microsoft or Google. Yeah. The guy is really anti-establishment. He won't be made into a big-time media Hollywood hero. Well, what's made into a big-time Hollywood hero is what's going to sell the money. They'll probably turn him into a story, but they'll twist it for their own purposes. Should specify who's frozen. Thank you for that, Jeff. It's more important to get CIA, NSA, FBI out of my browsing and business life. Yep. Watching now how it looks on this OS. Kill it with fire. Which OS? All right. Those 9 supreme black robes aren't so Fourth Amendment. Yep. Hello, Joe. Greetings there. Nazi Germany was the best society in modern times. Don't believe the propaganda. I'm sorry. I completely disagree with you. Remind me of Ali when he said, you want me to fight for your rights when you don't give me my rights. Yep. What do we think of Proton Mail? You know, I prefer my own mail system. If you're going to use a online webmail system, I think Proton Mail is definitely one of the best. Yes, kitty, you can come on back up. Come on. Come on back up. Come on. Yeah, we got Houston, we got cat dog. Come on. There you go. There we are. We got kitty. Let's see. Plasma layouts, Feren, familiar Redmond is now updated to change Redmond's panel menu. All right. Would the automatic plate company be held liable under jurisdictions? Which plate company? You're thinking of like the people that are storing, collecting data? I think it should be. I think that the government should look into that, and I think that a panel of judges should look in that and rule on whether that company can collect data or not. If you're referring to the company that goes around and collects all the license plate data, the one we covered on Thursday, if you're talking about the company that goes around and just collects all the license plates and has a database of millions of data points of American license plate numbers, yeah, I think that actually should be, I think that should be ruled on by a judge. I think it should be taken before courts and looked at. Redundant spacer, change menu application. Awesome, very cool. And best choice for great private calendar service, something I can have access to on all devices. Nextcloud. Set up a Nextcloud, learn how to set up a Nextcloud instance, and Nextcloud can do all your calendaring for you. I believe Proton Mail is coming up with one of those, and in fact, I think they're testing it right now with a certain number of users. So Proton Mail might be a good one. There is another one. Does Tutuano do those as well? I don't know how to pronounce that service. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. There's another one that I've not looked into yet that might do that as well, but I don't know for sure. Definitely not get a fair trial. They use the Patriot Act among some other stuff to make an example out of him so other people thinking about whistleblowing will think twice. Yep. I did try shoving notifications into the system tray on Redmond panel. I guess it isn't a thing or I'm doing it wrong. Notifications doesn't appear in the newly spawned system array. Really? I thought they were in the old systems. That surprises me. Doing iCloud on my iPhone, but thinking of using Proton Mail and something for managing my appointments, but money is an issue since I'm on a very fixed income. If it's just down to Google or Apple, Apple is more privacy focused, and that is reality based on me looking at network traffic on different devices. I would trust Apple before I trust Android. If you have the ability to set up a Nextcloud, that's going to be better. Look at I think it's Tutuelo, I think. I think that one might be another free one, but I don't know for sure. People have said it's pretty good, so I don't know. I'll have to look into it soon. So your faithfulness is IT filled with truth. We see your faithfulness. It is filled with truth. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Tutanota. Is it Tutanota? Am I pronouncing that right now? I don't know. Tutanota. I think that's it. Feren is my distro of choice. Looks great. Functions perfectly. Awesome. Yep. Putting in the system tray by default on your own config system. The tray doesn't have notifications turned on. Really? Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and feed the kitty. And then once we get the kitty fed, then I will hang out until the comments run dry, and then I'm out of here. All right, kitty. I promised you 4 today, so kitty will get 4. Please just don't drool on my mouse pad, okay? I don't want kitty drool on my mouse pad. You. Oh, boy. Did you get it? I don't think you got it. Here you go. I'll give you that one. And let's do one over here. Oh boy. We'll do one more over here. And I'm not... No. This way. This way. Ah! Here, kitty. Are the finger licking good? They're finger licking good. They are. They are finger licking good. All right. Did you get that fourth one too? You might have gotten 5. I'm not sure if you got that first one though or not. Yeah, she's a good kitty, huh? All right, sit down. All right. Whoa, gotta lower that a little bit. Oh, he's a fair weather friend today. He's like, dude, I got my kitty treats. I'm out of here, man. Oh, you're just gonna lay on the desk over there. You're gonna lay on the desk that way, huh? There you go. He's gonna lay on the desk that way. All right, buddy. You can lay on the desk that way. You can be a desk panther until I'm done recording. Then you gotta get down. He's only allowed on the desk when I'm recording. Turned off by default. All right. Hey, I'm out of notifications, so I guess we will catch you guys at a later date. I'll go ahead and release the Snowden video today, and I will re-record a better FerenOS video. I will do that. I'll do Feren and the desktop environment either Monday or Tuesday. So I'm not sure which one's going to land first, whether I drop Feren Monday, desktop Tuesday, and I'm thinking I'll do XFCE next, but I'm not completely sure. But anyway, with all that being said, thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.